The Real Weather Watch is brought to you by DeKalb, unstoppable yield momentum. We're joined right now on RealAgriculture.com for the Real Weather Watch. We're joined by senior climatologist David Phillips. He is with Environment Canada. Welcome today, David.
Well, thank you, Sean. Delight to be with you and to talk about our favorite topic of conversation, the weather. Not all Canadians, but particularly growers.
Yeah, is there anything else you should be talking about at this time besides the weather?
Well, maybe the price of crops, but hey, weather comes first. It really is. It's always been the bane of farmers, but sometimes it's good news and sometimes it's bad news. And clearly, Sean, we've seen in the West, wow, what a rock and rolling and up and down kind of a year it has been.
In southern Alberta, we're supposed to get temperatures of like 31 degrees.
I mean, it is truly unbelievable. When you look at, there's been more summer in September, I think, this year than in the West than we've had all summer. And, you know, it's looking like it's going to continue. I mean, I can't believe these temperatures that we're seeing this week and towards as we get out of September. I mean, 12 degrees warmer than normal. I mean, that's what you'd often see in the wintertime when you're saying, wow, there's 12 degrees colder than it normally is for this time of the year in February and January. And you often don't describe that way in certainly the latter part of summer and into fall. But hey, I think farmers, growers will be delighted. They'll take it because it really has meant that their work is be able to finish. And I think
the weather has been so good here that it's just harvest has progressed. I've had a couple farmers tell me that they don't remember a harvest that has gone this fast.
Yeah.
So you're telling me it's going to continue out, and we're not going to get some sort of abrupt, crazy snowstorm that's right around the corner?
Well, you know, again, I mean, it's hard to say. You know, what we're doing is trying to look at seasonal, monthly seasonal time frames and 10-day time frames from day-to-day weather. I mean, I'm as a climatologist, I look back and I say, wow, you know, I mean, 2/3 of just to give you a number in Calgary, for example. I mean, 2/3 of the of September's have had snow. I mean, it may be a dusting of snow. Last year at this time, September the 17th, there was 0.2 centimeters of snow in Calgary, and of course already they'd had their frost. You see, so you can't rule that out. I mean, if in southern Alberta that seeing the white stuff in September is more the rule than the exception. And when I look at the numbers for September and October, in 125 years of weather records in Calgary, there's only been 2 Septembers and Octobers without snow. So it's almost like death and taxes. You're going to get snow in parts of southern Alberta in either September or October. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the average conditions over that period are going to be gloomy. Indeed, what we're seeing for September, and really as we leave September, I mean, these are remarkable temperatures, 12 degrees warmer than normal, and not a hint of frost, although there has been touches of frost already in the West. But clearly, there is the harvesting continues and is going to be completed. And then we look at October, and we're showing for all of Manitoba and Saskatchewan and a good part of Alberta as being warmer than normal. Now, again, you can't rule out the odd day where you're going to be a frost or a touch of snow or some nasty kind of weather, but then back into the warm weather. But generally, the character and the personality of what we see fall being, that is, if it's measured by September and October, and those are the 2 crucial months, that it looks favorable, warmer than normal, and precipitation always a tougher call, Sean. I mean, you don't always know what precipitation's coming, but we generally see normal to drier than normal in the eastern prairies, maybe a little bit wetter in the western in Alberta, but again, I wouldn't bet too much money on that precipitation forecast over a month or 2 months. But clearly the key thing is the temperature. We see it being warmer than normal, but hey, I'd also bet money on there will be a frost and maybe a snow before Halloween. I always think Westerners say to me, if you can possibly leave the snow, heavy snow, until after Halloween, they feel as if they're going to win one. So we know that that's clearly, the climatology tells us, getting snow in September or October is not a rarity. It is something that occurs more often. But hey, this year, the general conditions for harvest look good. They've been great for the last month, and it looks like there's going to continue that way.
A huge drought in parts of the U.S., and it's been a warm year in the Midwest. Obviously, everybody's been reading about the droughts in Texas and in places like that. How much of effect has that pattern had on maybe how warm of a September we've had? Is any?
Well, I don't think that really is. I think what we've seen, perhaps, and probably the best example I can give is what we've seen in southern Manitoba. Southern Manitoba has had some very, very dry conditions in the summer. We've seen almost, I think in Winnipeg, for example, we've had the second driest summer in 82 years. They had their driest July on record, and that followed some of the wettest spring weather. So in many ways, a lot of that weather that farmers in the eastern prairies were cursing in the springtime, it really came to be a blessing later on. So it just shows you that, sometimes the weather, you don't write the obituary on the weather until probably well into the next season. And we saw that. I mean, we've clearly seen some devastating weather in the United States for farmers, for all Americans. I mean, we have seen just several billion-dollar weather disasters. This has been the worst weather year that Americans have ever put in with regards to the costs, the deaths, the variety of conditions, from horrendous snowstorms to killer tornadoes to unprecedented droughts and wildfires. It's almost biblical in a way, is what they have in fact seen. And yet, a short distance to the north, I mean, we think, we have tough weather. I think in many ways we've been blessed. We have hardships. We deal with some tough weather in this country. But I think in many ways we're very fortunate to not have suffered the kind of extremes that we've seen just south of the border.